Most families pass down poverty and mediocrity like an inheritance. The same jobs, the same fears, the same small life, over and over. But it doesn't have to end with you. One focused year is enough to rise from survival to power, from mediocrity to greatness. Watch this video to discover how to build the mindset and attitude that creates generational wealth. The kind your bloodline has been waiting for. Most people will never live. They will exist. They will repeat. They will breathe, eat, work, sleep, and die. But they will never truly live. Not because they were destined for smallness, not because they lacked talent or intelligence or opportunity, but because they never woke up to the truth. One focused year could break every chain they inherited. Think about it. You are not just an individual. You are the sum of generations. Your bloodline stretches behind you like a shadow filled with stories. Victories, failures, habits, scars, all of it flows into you. Some of those gifts are powerful. The resilience of a grandmother who crossed oceans with nothing. The discipline of a father who worked himself raw to provide. The creativity of an ancestor whose art never left the village walls. But along with the gifts come the curses. Debt that never seems to vanish. Addiction that whispers like an old friend. Fear of speaking, fear of trying, fear of failing. Anger disguised as strength. Silence disguised as humility. Cycles disguised as that's just how our family is. And here you stand, carrying all of it. The gifts and the curses. The fire and the ash. But most people, they never separate the two. They never ask, which patterns deserve to stay? Which patterns must die with me? And so they repeat. They marry the way their parents married. They raise children the way they were raised. They handle money, stress, failure, and love the way their family handled it, even if it destroyed them. Why? Because it feels normal. And what feels normal rarely gets questioned. Pain that lasts long enough becomes invisible. A cage you grow up in becomes home. Think about the workplace. How many people do you know who hate their jobs but never leave? Their parents stayed in miserable jobs. Their grandparents stayed. They call it stability, but it is fear. They teach their children, don't rock the boat. Don't take risks. Just be grateful you have a paycheck. And so another generation trades dreams for desks, potential for pensions. Think about relationships. A woman watches her mother stay with an angry, bitter man. She grows up thinking love equals endurance of abuse. She marries the same kind of man. Her daughter watches, and the cycle continues. Think about health. A man grows up in a family where every celebration means overeating. Every stress means alcohol. Every holiday means another pound added. He repeats it. His son repeats it. And by 43 generations share the same diagnosis. Diabetes, heart disease, early death. Do you see it? These are not accidents. They are inheritances. Not of wealth, but of wounds. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That is the problem. People confuse patterns with destiny. They confuse conditioning with choice. They confuse repetition with reality. Ask yourself, how many times have you caught yourself saying the words your parents used to say, even if you swore you never would? How many times have you reacted with anger the same way your father did, or shut down the way your mother did? How many times have you looked at your life and thought, this isn't what I wanted, but still kept walking the same path because it was familiar? That is the trap, not suffering itself, but the silence around it. The illusion that this is just life. It is not just life. It is chains. Chains so heavy you forget they exist. Chains you polish and decorate so they look respectable. Chains you teach your children to carry without even realizing it. And society helps you carry them. Look at the culture around you. Everywhere you turn, you are taught to numb instead of change. Bad day at work. Drink. Lonely at night. Scroll. Insecure. Buy something. Confused. Distract yourself. They do not want you free. A free man does not need to consume endlessly. A free man cannot be manipulated by fear. A free man cannot be controlled. And so the system is designed to keep you repeating. Work hard enough to stay alive, but not free. Buy enough to stay numb, but not fulfilled. Scroll enough to stay distracted, but not awakened. Look deeper. This is why comfort is the most dangerous drug in the world. Because pain can wake you. But comfort puts you to sleep forever. A man who is beaten by life may finally scream, enough. But a man who is gently lulled with comfort will never resist. He will smile as the years are stolen from him. He will call his own chains a good life. That is the tragedy. Not failure, not suffering, but the acceptance of mediocrity as destiny. Nietzsche warned of this when he spoke of the last man, the one who seeks only comfort. No risk, no growth, no greatness. The last man blinks, scrolls, eats, reproduces, and dies. Safe, comfortable, forgotten. Ask yourself, have you already become him? Are you living, or are you sedating yourself with little pleasures while the years vanish? And here is the cruel part. Your life is not just your life. You are the link in a chain. Your choices ripple forward. Your children inherit not only your DNA, but your habits, your fears, your limits. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you are teaching them. Every time you choose silence over truth, you are teaching them. Every time you choose excuses over action, you are teaching them. And what you teach them, they will call normal. And what they call normal, they will repeat. Until someone breaks it. But most do not break it. Most hand it down like a cursed inheritance. Generations of poverty, fear, weakness, addiction, smallness. One bloodline, dozens of names, but one repeating tragedy. And the world is full of these families. Full of men who could have been leaders, but chose alcohol. Full of women who could have been creators, but chose silence. Full of children who never learned to dream because their parents never dared. This is the problem. Not that life is short, but that we waste it. Not that opportunities do not exist, but that fear blinds us from seeing them. Not that chains cannot be broken, but that most never even try. Because trying means pain. Trying means standing out. Trying means risking judgment. And most people would rather stay comfortable in chains than face the fire of freedom. So they stay. They stay in jobs they hate. They stay in relationships that drain them. They stay in bodies that feel like prisons. They stay in silence when their souls are screaming. And the years slip by. Until one day they wake up old, looking back, realizing that nothing ever changed. Realizing that all along, they were waiting for a savior who never came. And never realizing they were supposed to save themselves. This is the great tragedy of humanity. Not war. Not famine. Not even death. The great tragedy is wasted potential. The lives unlived. The dreams abandoned. The power buried. And here is the most bitter truth of all. Every day you waste is not just your loss. It is your bloodline's loss. Your children inherit your excuses as if they were law. Your grandchildren inherit your silence as if it were sacred. And what should have been your legacy becomes their prison. That is the problem. That is the disease. That is the curse. What if everything you have been told about change is wrong? What if it does not take decades to heal? What if it does not take a lifetime to rebuild? What if it only takes 1 year? Not forever. Not 20 years. Not an entire lifetime of struggle. Just 12 months of ruthless, disciplined focus. It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Because the world has conditioned you to believe in slow change. That growth is a gentle slope. That pain takes decades to undo. That you must wait patiently for fate to bless you. But that is a lie. A lie fed to you by people who never changed themselves. A lie reinforced by a system that benefits from your waiting. Because if you believe change takes forever, you will never even try. History disagrees. Psychology disagrees. Your own soul disagrees. Transformation is not about time. It is about intensity. It is about alignment. It is about choosing one path and walking it with such ferocity that the world cannot ignore you. 1 year. 365 days. That is all it takes to alter the trajectory of your life, your family, your bloodline. Think of the soldier. When he enters training, he is ordinary, undisciplined, soft, confused. But 1 year of relentless drills, discipline, and pressure forges him into someone unrecognizable. His walk changes. His eyes change. His very being changes. Not because he lived 10 more years, but because he focused 1 year. Think of the student. Most drift through school, memorizing facts, doing the minimum. But one student dedicates a year to mastering one subject, mathematics, art, philosophy. At the end, they are no longer average. They are exceptional. And that single year opens doors for decades to come. Think of the workplace. Most employees coast, answer emails, attend meetings, survive. But the one who dedicates a year to learning a craft, coding, sales, leadership, communication becomes untouchable. While others repeat their mistakes, this one compounds progress. In a single year, their career is no longer the same. Think of the marriage. 2 people, bitter, distant, cold. They live as roommates, not lovers. The children watch the silence and learn it as normal. But what if for 1 year one partner chooses gratitude instead of resentment, patience instead of anger, listening instead of defensiveness? 1 year of deliberate effort can resurrect love from the ashes. Not because time heals, but because focus heals. Do you see it? The lie is that change takes forever. The truth is that change takes focus. Philosophers have known this for centuries. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote nightly reminders to himself. Be disciplined. Be present. Do not waste your days. Nietzsche said, become who you are, not over lifetimes. But now, with every choice, Carl Jung warned, what you refuse to confront will control you. Until you shine attention upon it, it will dictate your fate. Attention is focus. Focus is the sword that cuts through fate. The great revelation is this: you do not need more time. You do not need another decade. You do not need another chance. You need 1 year. 1 year of obsession. Imagine it. For 1 year, you refuse to touch alcohol. The cravings scream at first. The nights are long. But slowly, your mind sharpens. Your body repairs. Your confidence rises. By the end of that year, your children no longer see you numbing. They see you building. 1 year, and the bloodline shifts. Imagine it. For 1 year, you read instead of scrolling. 20 pages a day. 7,000 pages in a year. That is 30 books. 30 lives lived through your mind. 30 new weapons in your arsenal. 1 year, and you are no longer the same thinker. Imagine it. For 1 year, you practice gratitude instead of complaining. Every day, you write 1 sentence of thanks. At first, it feels forced. But after months, your mind rewires. You no longer search for what is wrong. You train yourself to see what is right. And by the end, your energy transforms every room you enter. Imagine it. For 1 year, you go all in on your health. Not diets, not fads, daily discipline. Water, training, sleep, fuel. At first, the body resists. But by the end, you stand in front of a mirror that no longer mocks you. You stand tall. You feel alive. You feel capable of carrying your destiny. Imagine it. For 1 year, you silence excuses and pursue the business you dream of. No more, someday. No more when the timing is right. Daily action, small steps, relentless pursuit. By the end, you are no longer dreaming of freedom. You are building it. This is the revelation. That 1 year of focus outweighs 10 years of drifting. That 1 year of intensity outweighs decades of mediocrity. That 1 year of fire can burn away generations of rust. Do not underestimate it. Because most people waste their years in distraction, The one who focuses becomes a giant. Because most spread themselves thin, the one who commits becomes unshakable. And here is the deeper truth. 1 year of focus does not only transform results, it transforms identity. Because when you give yourself 1 year of absolute discipline, you prove to yourself something most never prove. You prove you can trust yourself. Think about that. Most people cannot trust themselves. They say they will diet, but break it in a week. They say they will quit drinking, but return by the weekend. They say they will chase the dream, but settle by Monday. Every broken promise chips away at some, until their word means nothing, not even to themselves. But 1 year of focus changes that. 1 year of keeping your own word builds a kind of trust you cannot buy. And when you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. Because doubt no longer owns you. Fear no longer paralyzes you. You no longer need applause or permission. You move with quiet conviction. That is why 1 year matters. It is not just the habits. It is the rebirth of identity. It is proof. The weak avoid proof. The strong demand it. The question is, will you demand it from yourself? Because here is the greatest revelation. It is not your bloodline that decides your future. It is not your past. It is not your parents. It is not fate. It is focus. And 1 year of it can change everything. You have seen the problem. You have heard the revelation. Now comes the most important part, transformation. Because knowing the truth is not enough. Revelation without action is just entertainment. Insight without application is another form of distraction. Transformation only comes when revelation is lived. So let me ask you, what does one focused year actually look like? What does it do to a human being? What happens when someone decides, this year, I will not break? Let's see it. Picture a man who has lived his entire adult life under the shadow of alcohol. Every weekend, the same ritual. Drink until the pain fades. Wake up with shame heavier than his hangover. His father did it. His grandfather did it. It has become the family tradition no one speaks of, but everyone feels. One night, he looks at his son, only 12 years old, staring at him with eyes that are not just sad, but scared. And something inside him breaks. He decides, for 1 year, no alcohol. The first week is hell. Shaking hands, restless nights, rage bubbling to the surface. The cravings feel like demons scratching his insides. But he endures. He learns to sit with discomfort instead of drowning it. He feels the raw emotions he used to bury. Weeks turn into months. He starts running. At first 1/2 mile, then 5. He starts journaling. At first a sentence, then pages. He starts rebuilding trust, first with himself, then with his family. By the end of that year, he is not the same man. He is sharper. He is stronger. He is alive. His son no longer hides in fear. He looks at his father with respect. 1 year. 1 decision. 1 bloodline changed. Now picture a woman drowning in debt. Credit cards maxed. Loans unpaid. Every dollar earned disappears before it even arrives. Her parents did the same. So did their parents. Debt feels like oxygen, poisonous, but normal. Until one day she says, enough. For 1 year, I will master my money. At first, it hurts. No more shopping sprees. No more takeout. No more vacations for show. She sells what she does not need. She cooks her meals. She budgets every dollar. Friends laugh at her. You're obsessed. Live a little. But she knows she is not living now, she is surviving. 3 months in, the first credit card is paid. 6 months in, the car loan is gone. By the 12th month, she is debt-free for the first time in her adult life. And here is the real transformation. Her children no longer grow up watching panic every time the bills arrive. They grow up watching discipline, clarity, and freedom. 1 year. 1 focus. Generations of chains shattered. Think of health. A man wakes up one morning, gasping for air, after climbing 1 flight of stairs. He is only 35, but his body feels 60. Fast food, late nights, no exercise. And the worst part. His father died young of the same choices. He sees his reflection and whispers, "If I do not stop, my son will bury me early." So he commits. For 1 year, daily training. At first, the weights mock him. The mirror sneers. But he shows up anyway. 3 months later, his body begins to shift. 6 months later, his co-workers do double takes. 1 year later, he no longer recognizes the man in the mirror. He is lean, strong, confident. He can play with his son without collapsing. He has broken the curse of early death. Psychology tells us this. Habits compound. One small action, repeated daily, grows beyond imagination. James Clear calls habits the compound interest of self-improvement. Think about money. You save $1 a day, nothing changes. But save it for a year, with discipline, and it grows into something significant. The same is true of the mind. Read 20 pages a day. It seems small, but in a year, that is over 30 books. 30 voices speaking into your soul. 30 weapons forged in your mind. Do that for a decade, and you are no longer the same person. You are a fortress of wisdom in a world of noise. This is the power of one focused year. Not the size of the daily action, but the consistency of it. Metaphorically, imagine steel. Raw metal is soft, shapeless, fragile. But under heat and hammer, it transforms. Blow after blow, flame after flame. Until it becomes sharp, strong, unbreakable. That is what 1 year of focus does to you. Every day of discipline is a strike of the hammer. Every sacrifice is another flame. And at the end, you are no longer raw. You are forged. You are a weapon against mediocrity. But let me tell you something deeper. The greatest transformation is not external. Not the body. Not the money. Not even the reputation. The greatest transformation happens inside. Because when you give yourself 1 year of absolute focus, you prove something most people never prove to themselves. That you can trust your own word. Do you realize how rare that is? Most people do not trust themselves. They say they will quit, then they relapse. They say they will start, then they procrastinate. They say they will commit, then they give up. Every broken promise is a wound. Every wound becomes shame. Every shame erodes confidence. Until they no longer believe their own words. Until they no longer even try. But 1 year of focus heals that wound. 1 year of keeping promises builds trust. And when you trust yourself, you no longer need applause. You no longer need validation. You no longer need permission. You move with conviction. You walk with certainty. You live with fire. That is the gift of 1 year. Not just results, but rebirth. Not just transformation, but identity. And here is the most beautiful part. When you transform, you do not transform alone. Your children see it. Your friends feel it. Your co-workers notice it. You give permission for everyone around you to rise. Because transformation is contagious. Weakness inspires weakness. Strength inspires strength. When a father breaks an addiction, his son learns courage. When a mother breaks financial chains, her daughter learns freedom. When an employee commits to growth, the whole team feels the energy shift. Your 1 year is not just yours. It belongs to everyone who comes after you. It belongs to your bloodline. It belongs to your legacy. 1 year of focus can heal generations of wounds. 1 year of focus can rewrite what your family believes is possible. 1 year of focus can turn you into the ancestor who broke the chain. Transformation is not about results. It is about identity. A man who once called himself an addict, now calls himself a builder. A woman who once said, "I am bad with money," now says, "I am free." A man who once said, "I am weak," now says, "I am strong." That shift is priceless. That shift is permanent. That shift is the true treasure of transformation. Because when identity changes, actions follow. When you become the kind of person who trains, health is automatic. When you become the kind of person who saves, Wealth is inevitable. When you become the kind of person who speaks truth, respect follows. The world bows to identity. And 1 year of focus can give you a new one. And maybe this is the most important vision of all. One day, you will be gone. Your name will be a memory. Your photograph will fade. And your children, your grandchildren, will tell stories. What story will they tell? Will they say, he lived like everyone else? Or will they say, she was the one who broke the curse? He was the one who changed everything. 1 year is enough to decide that story. 1 year is enough to become the ancestor who ended the cycle. 1 year is enough to give your bloodline freedom. That is transformation. That is the promise. That is the gift of 1 year. So now you know, you are not powerless. You are not cursed. You are not doomed to repeat the cycles you were born into. You are one decision away. 1 year away. One focused year away from rewriting your entire bloodline. But knowing is not enough. Because knowledge without action is just another drug. Another distraction. Another scroll. Another video that makes you feel alive for 5 minutes, then fades into nothing. The truth is this: most people will not act. They will hear these words, nod in agreement, maybe feel a spark in their chest. And then tomorrow, they will wake up and live the same life as yesterday. Because the comfort of the cage feels safer than the risk of freedom. But not you. You cannot afford to waste another year. You cannot afford to hand your children another chain. You cannot afford to die with your potential still locked inside. So, here is the call. Here is the demand. Here is the choice that will split your life into 2 parts. Before today and after today. First, let us strip away the illusions. Stop telling yourself you have time. Stop telling yourself you will start next month. Stop telling yourself you are waiting for the right moment. Time is not your friend. Time is not patient. Time is a thief. Look back at the last 5 years. How fast did they go? How many promises did you break to yourself? How many dreams did you bury under excuses? And if nothing changes, how will the next 5 years be any different? Exactly the same. The brutal truth is this: if you do not choose one focused year now, you will look back in 10 years older, weaker, more tired, and whisper the most painful words a human can speak. I could have been more. Understand this. The year will pass whether you act or not. The clock does not care. The sun will rise and fall. Seasons will shift. 12 months will vanish. The only question is, will those months forge you, or will they consume you? Will they build you, or will they bury you? You cannot stop the passage of time. But you can decide whether that time is wasted or transformed. Do not tell me it is too late. That excuse is poison. You are not too old. You are not too young. You are not too busy. You are alive. And as long as you are alive, you are not done. Colonel Sanders founded KFC at 60. Nelson Mandela walked out of prison after 27 years and still rebuilt a nation. Dostoevsky wrote his greatest works after facing a firing squad and years in Siberia. If they had excuses, they had every excuse. But they acted anyway. So what is your excuse? Busy. Everyone is busy. Scared. Everyone is scared. Tired. Everyone is tired. The difference is that the few choose action despite it. Excuses are easy. Discipline is rare. That is why most die average, and why the few live legendary. So, let us make this real. What happens when you give yourself 1 year? 1 year of fitness and your body becomes a weapon instead of a weakness. 1 year of discipline and your bank account shifts from drowning to breathing. 1 year of learning and your mind holds more wisdom than decades of drifting. 1 year of truth and your relationships are rebuilt on respect instead of resentment. 1 year of faithfulness to yourself and you are reborn as someone you can finally trust. Do you understand the magnitude? You are not just changing habits. You are changing identity. You are not just saving yourself. You are saving your bloodline. Because when you rise, they rise with you. When you break the chain, they are freed. When you build discipline, they inherit strength instead of excuses. That is why 1 year matters. That is why the urgency is now. So, what must you do? Choose. Decide, here and now, what your 1 year will be about. Not 10 things. Not everything. 1. Will it be health? Money? Sobriety? Discipline? Building? Choose. Commit. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Declare it to yourself as law. No half promises. No maybes. No, I'll try. Commit as if your life depends on it, because it does. Cut. Remove distractions. Remove excuses. Remove the people who pull you back into mediocrity. If it weakens you, it goes. 1 year is too short to waste. Execute. Daily. Relentlessly. Without compromise. Not perfect, but consistent. Every day, 1 step. Every day, 1 strike of the hammer. Every day, 1 brick laid. Endure. You will suffer. You will crave comfort. You will doubt. That is the test. That is the fire. That is where transformation is born. Do not run from it. Embrace it. Let the pain forge you. Picture it. 1 year from now, you look in the mirror, and the person staring back is unrecognizable. Not just in body, but in spirit. Not just in results, but in confidence. Your children notice. Your friends notice. Your co-workers notice. But most importantly, you notice. You look into your own eyes and finally see someone you respect. And that respect ripples. Your children grow up knowing discipline, not excuses. Your grandchildren grow up hearing stories of the ancestor who broke the cycle. And your bloodline carries your strength for generations. 1 year. That is all it takes. But hear me, you cannot delay. You cannot postpone. You cannot say, next year. Next year is a lie. Next year is the graveyard of dreams. Next year is where potential goes to die. There is only this year. This moment. This decision. Do you feel the fire in your chest? That is your soul screaming. Do not waste this chance. That is your ancestors whispering. End it with you. That is your future children begging. Break the chain. So what will you do? Will you scroll past this? Or will you stand up, today, and begin? At the end of your life, when your name is only a story, when your photograph fades in a frame, what will they say? Will they say, he lived like everyone else? Or will they say, she was the one who changed everything? Will they say, he handed us chains? Or will they say, she handed us keys? That is the choice before you. 1 year of focus. 1 year of sacrifice. 1 year that will echo for centuries. So here is my demand to you. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Do not negotiate. Choose your 1 year. Burn the ships. Kill the excuses. And give yourself fully to the fire of transformation. Because 1 year of focus can change your entire bloodline. But only if you begin now. Only if you refuse to compromise. Only if you decide today. This is your moment. This is your chance. Do not waste it. Start now. This year, this life. Your bloodline is waiting. You've carried poverty. You've carried mediocrity. But you don't have to pass it on. 1 year of focus can turn you from the product of your past into the creator of your future. Your family is waiting. Your legacy is waiting. Greatness is waiting. Don't let this just be another video you watch. Let this be the moment your story changes. Now go and live the year that rewrites your bloodline.